First question, before teaching drama, what was your experience with the arts?
So, like before I even started entering a classroom teaching, you mean? That
Yeah.
kinda? Oh my gosh. Well, the funniest thing is when I was in high school, I was not super involved in the drama program. I took drama classes, but I was only involved in one after school production because my passion in high school was actually journalism. I was the editor of the school newspaper when I was in high school. So that was sort of where I really loved it, but I was dancing outside of school. And so when I got to college, I had a professor in my intro to drama class that I was taking as an elective who said, hey, we're doing Midsummer Night's Dream. You should try out. We need dancers. And so I tried out and got a part as the second fairy. And it was very exciting because it was different than dance. In other words, I was talking and people were responding directly to what I was saying and not just how I was moving like had been with dance. And so I decided to keep taking classes, and I eventually earned a double major in theater and political science because I was hoping to go into law at the time, and so I just kept taking these political science classes for that, but then I just kept taking the drama to supplement all the empty holes in my schedule. And then I had another professor who asked me to go to a gifted program in a local school in North Carolina with them to teach. And that's the first time I set foot in a classroom as a drama teacher, and it was super memorable. Those kids were so energized and so creative, and the teacher kept commenting about how the quietest kid was the most creative kid in the room that day. And so I think that was the first time I really realized that maybe I really wanted to be a drama teacher. And then I did a performance of Dracula the musical when I was a junior for a group of kids who have never seen theater. They had never gone to a play. And so they were in there, and I walked out on stage, and it's a comedy, and they could not stop laughing. They could not stop laughing at us. The energy in that room was insane. So I thought, maybe I should see if there's a degree. Maybe I can make a living out of this because law school was okay, but I realized it really wasn't what I really wanted to do as I thought I had in high school. Yeah. And so that's sort of where it was. And then I went to graduate school for theater for youth at the University of North Carolina, Greensboro, which is really a directing and education degree. So I was taking directing classes with all the other master's students, and I also took all these theater education classes, and so I went more into the classroom. I toured with the Children's Theater for a while, the North Carolina Theater for Young People, which I became the general manager of. And so we went to schools all over the state of North Carolina with our little van filled with our set smushed in all around all of us, and we did a show called Tar Heel Tales, which was hilarious and fun. And I'll never wear overalls again because we wore overalls every day for months in that show. And then I was fortunate enough to be in a situation where I could go to New York City and sort of see what that life would be like. And I didn't have any intention of going as an actor. I really still wanted to be in arts education. And so I saw an ad in the New York Times randomly, and they were looking for an arts administrator, years of experience required, et cetera. And it was really small, but it didn't say who it was or anything like that. And at this point, I was temping in the World Trade Center like every starving actor I think was doing at the time, was temping. Yeah. And it turned out that on the caller ID on my phone, 3 days later, up came Lee Strasberg, which, by the way, Lee Strasberg is a very famous acting teacher, but he died in 1981. So I was like, why is his caller ID coming up?
Yeah, wow.
And then I realized it was the Lee Strasberg Theater Institute, which I didn't even realize was in New York. I knew there was one in Hollywood, but I didn't realize there was one in New York. And they were looking for someone to be a administrator for their Young Actors program. And so I went in and interviewed and got a job, and I spent 3 years in New York in that position, learning about arts administration and studying the method there, and meeting my mentor of a dance teacher, Jeffrey Ferguson. And it was a great experience, but I super miss being in a classroom in a school. And through a weird turn of events, I found Walker and was hired 3 years later and moved down here, and I've never left. So that's sort of my experience before I got here.